we're going to get started. Okay, welcome back to Yoga Therapeutics again with myself, Amanda Wheeler. We have a focus on more of the neck and shoulders today, more upper body work, but we will include a little bit of everything as usual. It is just $5 for the class as usual, and if you want to pay via Zoom or not Zoom, sorry, we're on Zoom, you can pay via Venmo, which is the easiest, or I can give you a call. We can do credit card over the phone through the True Healing Massage Reader, or I have a PayPal on the website set up as well, where you can purchase a Zoom class there. So just let me know. And if you need to go get your props still, you will need 2 blocks for sure. You may need a strap. And then if you have a folding chair, grab a folding chair and get that. If you don't have a folding chair, you can grab a pillow or a bolster. There'll be something that you can do on there instead of the chair. Just a couple of things that I'll show you. You can always do them later too, whenever you have time to get them. And then a folded blanket will be beneficial in some of them. So for today, we are going to start out in a comfortable seated position again, whatever position is comfortable for you. And just relax your arms down and begin to smooth out your breath. You can close your eyes when you're ready and make sure that your breath is smooth and steady. After you have gotten your breath to a steady rhythm, we're going to do a few rounds of a type of breathing that will help to loosen up the neck initially and more so the jaw. So do at least 5 rounds. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale in was kind of a dragon breath. So big, wide mouth and exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Jaw as wide as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Again, your jaw should be as wide as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. And then smooth out your breathing. Allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. And then again with your 360 breath like we did last time. So your 360 breath is taking a nice deep inhale, allowing the rib cage to expand in the front, the sides, and the back part of your body. Full 360 expansion breath. Slow exhale. Do a couple more. And then when you're ready, slowly open your eyes again. All right, we're going to begin with some neck stretches. So if you're facing the mirror, or not the mirror, if you're facing the camera, I'm messing up lots of words today. If you're facing the camera, I will be mirroring you. So we're going to start by bringing your right hand up and bring it to the left side of your neck. Try to go to the base of your skull. But try to keep your face turned straight ahead. And we're just going to slowly bring that ear down towards your shoulder. So your right ear is coming down towards your right shoulder. Now, if it's too much for you to have your arm up, you can just do it with your arm down as well. The hand just gives you a little tiny bit extra. We don't want to pull. We're just using a tiny bit of pressure to assist that. Just keep this left shoulder down and relaxed. And then after you've held there for a few breaths, we're going to keep the head tilted to the side and just turn the chin down towards your chest more. So when we had the ear towards the shoulder, we are stretching more of the upper trapezius muscle. And now with this turn, we're getting a little bit deeper into the levator muscle. which connects from the neck down to the top corner of the shoulder blade. So just holding there for a few breaths. And then if you want, you can release your hand and you can kind of rock a little bit back and forth with your head there. And just notice where that tension is, right in through the, more towards the back side of the neck, and then down to the shoulder. Then keeping your head still tilted to the side, we're just going to start to turn and look up. Still keep that tilt to the side, but turn and start to lift your chin up. See if you can keep the left shoulder relaxed. And then while you're here, you can even open your jaw. And if you have TMJ, this might help to release some tension in there. And then slowly turn your head back to center, and then come upright again. We'll do the other side. Lift your left arm up, bring it back to the base of your skull on that right side, and then keep your face pointing straight ahead and tilt your ear down to your shoulder, left ear to left shoulder this time. So you're gonna pause there for a few breaths. Again, the hand is just getting a little bit of extra pressure. Keep your right shoulder relaxed. And really relax into it. So we tend to tense up a lot, even when I'm giving people massages. When I'm hitting a knot or a tight area, some people will tense up because they just really want the knot out. But just breathe and relax as much as you can. And then gently turn the chin down. So again, that head stays tilted to the side, and just turn your head down. So remember, our first position to the side helps the upper traps a little more. This one helps the levator muscle. You can get that left shoulder to, or your right shoulder to relax. You can release your hand and then gently just kind of rock there. After you've done a little bit of rocking there, gently turn, so keep your head tilted, and turn the chin up. Now this one, especially if you tilt your chin up enough, you're going to get more of a stretch to the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid muscle, towards the front of the neck. And you can adjust yourself so you feel it right for yourself, and then open your jaw if you want, once or twice or 3 or 4 times, and make sure you got that tilt in of the neck. Whenever you feel ready, just slowly turn back, nice and slow. You can roll your shoulders out a little bit if you want to. And the next thing I'm going to show you quickly, you don't have to grab anything, but I'll show you. If you have tennis balls at home, you can do this. So just some tennis balls work, or they have special different myofascial release balls and just therapy kind of balls that you can use. What you would do is you would use one at a time, and you would go right to the fleshiest part of the shoulder, and you would push down into the shoulder, and you want to push down and back, and then it's really going to lengthen that front side. So you'd press the ball down, relax the shoulder, press the ball down into the fleshiest, the biggest part of that shoulder, and then you push down. And you can even come closer to the front, push down and back, and you'll get a nice release into that muscle. And you can tip your head to the side while you do it, and then you would do the other side. And there's a few other techniques that if you have questions on, you can set up a consult with me if you want, if there's other techniques or specific things that you want to learn how to release in there. And from your comfortable seated position, we'll get started with our other poses. Straighten out your legs. Come into a half fish pose. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Place your right foot flat. Inhale, lift up. Wrap your left arm around. Lift your right arm up and around. Get that nice opening. Bring your right hand behind you, up on your fingertips if you can. And then roll that right shoulder back. And especially since we're working on the neck, lift up through your chest, lengthen your neck, and gently turn and look past your back shoulder. So as comfortably as you can here. Nice twist. Tilt the chin up if that feels good for you. or down and over. So just take that turn of your neck wherever you have the tightest muscles. And then go ahead and come back to the center. Straighten out your right leg. Bend your left leg, cross it over. Sit up tall, wrap your right arm around the front, lift your left arm up and around, open up that shoulder, and then release your left hand behind you. Again, sit up tall, lift your chest, lengthen your neck, which doesn't mean just tip the chin up. It means like a turtle, you're gonna lift your neck straight up and get length to the back as well. Turn and look behind you. Again, you can tilt your head a little bit down or up to get the right stretch for you. Just don't bring those shoulders up to your ears. Keep the shoulders down. Come back to the center. Straighten out your legs. Go ahead and come onto your hands and knees and grab a block. Your block can be whichever direction, it doesn't matter too much right now. We're going to come into a child's pose and use the block for your head. A lot of block use for today. So from your hands and knees, bring the tops of your feet down, let your big toes touch, separate your knees, and just relax back into child's pose. Position your block so that it can be right underneath your forehead. So forehead down so that your neck is nice and long. And then crawl your arms out. Keep your elbows up for this one. You want your fingers spread nice and wide. Lift the elbows up off of the floor, but try to bring the shoulders away from your ears. So don't have them up in your ears. Relax them back. And pause there for a few breaths. Again, just try to lengthen the back of your neck. You can even move your forehead farther up on the block if you want. Then come back up onto your hands and knees in your tabletop. Set your block to the side. We're going to use it a lot, so keep it close. Twisted child's pose. Keep the tops of your feet down. Knees are underneath your hips. Lift your chest forward. Turn and lift your left arm up and open. Remember, lift the chest. Try to roll that left shoulder up and back. And then sweep it underneath your right armpit. Bring your left outer shoulder down and the left side of your head down. Now remember, this right elbow is going to point up. You can crawl the right hand forward more if you want to get more of a stretch. Pause there for a couple of breaths. Your left arm should be straight up from your shoulder, or you can just slightly move it where it feels best. When you're ready, come back onto your hands and knees. Lift your chest. Lift your right arm up and open. Roll that right shoulder open. And then sweep it underneath your left armpit. Right shoulder down, right side of your head down. And your left elbow is going to point up. Walk your hand out if you want, a little bit deeper. Now usually your hip tries to turn forward. So just try to keep the hips in line as best as you can. Gently twist through the upper body. Feel free to move that right arm wherever it needs to. And then when you're ready, come back up onto your hands and knees. Bring your knees and ankles together. Have a seat onto your feet. You may want a strap for this one, especially if you have tight shoulders. I'm going to use a strap because it does give a little bit more space. Thunderbolts, we're going to have our hands overhead. So if you have a strap, just go ahead and give yourself a good wide space between your hands. Squeeze your thighs together. And then we don't want to go into too much of a back bend or hunch forward. So pull your belly back, keep that lower belly pulling up, keep your ribs down, and as you inhale, lift all the way up. Relax the shoulders down away from your ears. So we don't want the shoulders up here. Relax them down. Pull on your strap so you can kind of pull the hands apart from each other. If you don't have a strap, you can just go ahead and interlace your hands and point your palms up. You just don't have quite as much space. Couple more breaths there. Good. Slowly release down. Set your strap to the side. Come back onto your hands and knees. Do a few rounds of cat to cow. Go ahead and do it if you know it. Cat pose, round your back, tuck your chin into your chest, pull your belly button up and press your tailbone just slightly forward. Cow pose, tilt your tailbone back. Drop your chest down. So really feel the shoulder blades go up and your chest down. Then squeeze the elbows back and lift your chest forward. Do a couple more rounds. Cat. Remember to tuck that chin really nice in cat. And then when you come into cow posture, make sure you're lifting. So shoulders shouldn't be in your ears. Lift up and lengthen through your neck. Do one more round there, cat to cow. And then come back to neutral. Spine nice and neutral. Grab your block again. Same kind of thing. Now we're going into puppy pose using the block. In puppy pose, it's basically down dog on your knees. So crawl your knees back. You can bring your toes underneath if that's comfortable for you. Tip your butt back though. You want a little bit of a tip here for your lower back curve. Then you're going to slowly release, chest down to the floor. Move your block and relax here. This time we have a little bit more opening because we're a little higher on your knees. So try to roll your shoulders up and back and release your chest down. Now, if you can comfortably reach the floor with your head, you can go ahead and remove the block. But if you feel any strain in your neck, please use the block. So tip your butt back, relax your head, and let your chest fall towards the floor. Come back onto your hands and knees. Leave your block about there. Step your feet back into a plank, press back into down dog. In your down dog, keep it nice and long so we can get the back straight. Don't walk your feet forward here. Keep it back. So basically from a plank, straight back to your down dog. Lift your shoulder blades onto your back again and let your chest fall. Now if you have your block there, I want you to rest your forehead on it if you can reach it. If it's too much to reach your block with your head, don't worry about it. Keep your belly pulling back. Slight tip up of that tailbone. And start to press your heels towards the floor to get that deeper leg stretch. When you're ready, you can come to your knees if you need to, or just slide that block out of your way. And then walk forward and come up halfway with your blocks. Grab your blocks, place them under your hands. In our halfway lift, make sure you're in upside down L shape. So your feet can be hip distance. That's usually best for women, just with our wider hips. Press your feet down nice and firmly. Don't lock your knees back, slight bend. Pull your belly back, and now lift your chest more. Press the hands down and even lift your chest using the hands as you press your hands down and slightly back. Lengthen your neck as much as you can. So your neck is relaxed. You can rock it side to side. Look down, lengthen your neck. One more breath. Bend your knees. Bring your hands to your hips, come up to mountain. Bring your feet together. Crescent pose, feet together. Inhale, lift your arms up. Bring your palms together. Lower your right hand to your hip. Again, I'm going to mirror you. Right hand's on your hip. Reach up through your chest. Reach up through your left shoulder. Shift your hips over and bend to the side. Remember, your face is going to stay pointed straight ahead for now. And same kind of motion, you're going to tip your head to the side like we did in the beginning. Keep your hips straight ahead. Roll that left shoulder back. Then, like we did when we were seated, turn and tip your chin up. Couple breaths. Come back up. Lift your right arm up, palms together. Lift your left arm down to your hip. You can hook that left hand on your hip. Reach up through your right shoulder. Shift your hips over, bend to the side. Roll your right shoulder back. Don't let it collapse. Face starts straight ahead, and then you're going to turn and tip up. Couple breaths here. Come back up. Bring your left arm up and release your palms down to heart center. Feel free to relax the shoulders out if they get stiff. Leave your feet together, and we're coming into a chair pose, but a higher chair pose. Feet together, lift your arms up. We want to keep this position of the back as we sit down into chair pose. If you need more distance between your feet, just go ahead and move them apart. But you're going to tip your butt back a little, sit down just a little bit, because we're going to focus on lifting up and pull the belly back. Then reach your arms up and back. And then if you can see my head, we're not going to have the chin in or up. We're going to press your chin back and lengthen your neck. Couple more breaths there. See if you can get that neck lengthened, shoulders down away from your ears. And then release. Beautiful. Separate your feet hip distance again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend those knees, bring your belly to your thighs. Relax your head and neck here. We're going to pause for a couple of breaths so that you can relax your head and neck. You won't need your blocks for a little while, so you can slide them out. Head heavy. A lot of us tend to try to hold the head up even a little bit, but let it be heavy. Even pull the chin in toward your chest a little, and then release it. Once you're ready, step your left foot back into a low lunge. Keep that right knee over your right ankle. Pull your feet towards each other. Keep your left glute engaged. Straighten out your back, but this time we're going to look down. Straight down at the top of your mat if you can. Lengthen your neck again. So like a turtle, we don't want to have the shoulders hunched. Lengthen. Lift your chest, but lengthen your neck. Plant your left hand down. Spread your fingers. Keep your thighs squeezing in, and then turn open to your right into revolve lunge. Right hand on your hip. Roll the right shoulder back. You can stay there, hugging the right knee in and shoulder back. Or you can also lift your arm up. Again, we're rolling the right shoulder back. Play with looking up and down. You can go back and forth once or twice if you want to get that neck movement, and then release back into your lunge. Bring your left knee down. You can scoot your left knee back a little further and then come up, hands on your hips, into monkey lunge. Let your hips come down and forward a little. You can keep that back foot down or toes curled under. In this monkey lunge, bring your hands to the back of your head and kind of bring your fingertips to the top more so, and get your thumbs right at the base of your skull on each side of your spine. I want you to grab your thumbs underneath and tip your head up a little. Hook your thumbs underneath and then pull up on your thumbs and lengthen the back of your neck. Then release your hands to the sides. Interlace your hands or use your strap and straighten your arms. Keep that length of the back of the neck as if your thumbs are still pulling up at the back of your neck. Release your hips down and reach your knuckles back. Good, slowly release. Curl your back toes under again. And bring your knee up from your lunge. You can go back into a plank. And then lower your knees down. We're going into puppy pose again. If you want to use the block, go ahead and use it. Tip your butt back. Relax your chest and relax your forehead down. Feel free to have that block under your forehead. Remember, shoulders up and chest releases down. Come back up onto your hands and knees. Press back into down dog. And we'll go to the left side. You can lift your left leg up if you want, or you can just bring your knees down and work that left foot all the way up to the top of your mat. Low lunge again. Left knee over ankle. Squeeze your feet towards each other and squeeze the thighs in. Lift your chest. Lengthen your neck. So don't look forward on this one. We're working on the neck. Lengthen. As if someone has a string at the crown of your head and is pulling the crown of your head away from you. Keep your right glute engaged. When you're ready for revolve lunge, plant your right hand down. Fingers nice and spread apart evenly. Wrist is under your shoulder. Lift. Bring your left hand to your hip. Squeeze that left knee in and roll your left shoulder back. Maybe lift your left arm up if that's comfortable for you. Keep your right glute engaged. Keep your thighs hugging in, but lengthen. Lift your chest. Feel free to look down and then up. Nice and slow. 1 or 2 times if you want to get that neck movement. Then come back down. Lower your right knee. You can scoot your right knee back a little further if you'd like. Bring the top of your foot down if it's comfortable and come all the way up, hands on your hips, monkey lunge. Release your hips down towards the floor. Same thing with the hands. Bring hands to the top of your head. So fingers to the top of the head, roughly, and then thumbs right at the base of your skull on each side. Tip your head up just so you can hook the thumbs underneath your skull. And then pull up with your thumbs. Feel that length to the back of your neck. Release your hands, interlace your hands, or you can have your strap there. Squeeze your shoulders back. Relax your hips down. Couple breaths. Release down. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. Back into a plank. You can lower to your knees or right down to your belly for Cobra. Press the tops of your feet down. Hands right by your upper rib cage. Roll your shoulders back. Hug those elbows in. Spread your fingers wide. And then lift forward and press up to your comfort level. Remember, a blanket folded underneath your hips will help with lower back pain. Roll those shoulders back. Relax them down. Slowly release down. Crocodile. We're going to keep the legs down for this crocodile. Press the tops of your feet down. Your feet can stay hip distance. Bring your forehead down, interlace your hands behind your head. And remember, if your shoulders are tight, you can just kind of have the fingertips close to each other and not interlace. Extend your elbows out to the sides. Lift your head and chest up off the floor. Now don't collapse the neck. I want you to use your thumbs or your hands to lengthen the back of your neck and then extend your elbows out and press your head back. I usually separate my fingers a little more to give myself some more space. Couple breaths. Lengthen the neck. Lift your chest. Shoulders back. And then release. Feel free to bring your forearms out in front of you and rest your forehead down for a moment. Let the back of your neck lengthen. And you can pause there as many breaths as you need. And then bring your hands right underneath your shoulders again. Press up to plank or to your knees. Press back into down dog. Relax your head in down dog. Let your ears come right between the upper arms. Twisted down dog. You're going to press through your left hand. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Grip with those fingertips. And you're going to push back. And then release that right hand over to the outside of your left leg. It can be up here or down at the shin. But push through your left hand. And then peek underneath your armpit and gently twist. When you're ready, come back to the center. It's helpful to look up between your hands, especially if you tend to get dizzy or lightheaded. And then press through that right hand and bring your left arm out to the outside of your right leg. Again, it can be to the upper leg or by the shin. Gently look under your right armpit. Good, nice and slow. Come on back to the center. Pause there. From your down dog, we're going to come all the way up to mountain, however you need to go there. If you want to walk, bend your knees. If you have back pain, come all the way up. Separate your feet hip distance. Bring your hands to your hips. Step your left foot back into a high lunge. Get up onto the ball of your back foot. Right knee over ankle as usual. Roll your shoulders back. Lengthen the back of your neck. Bring your hands up and bring your hands back behind you, just like we did for a crocodile behind the head. Interlace your hands or the fingertips together. I want you to pull on the back of your neck and tuck your chin in. Then press your head back and lift your chest. Open your shoulders to the sides. After you've done that, release your hands to your hips, or you can do arms up, relaxing the shoulders down for a couple more breaths. Release your hands to your hips when you're ready. Step your left foot forward, feet hip distance. Step your right foot back into high lunge, other side. Up on the ball of your back foot, left knee over ankle. Roll your shoulders back. Again, you're going to bring your hands behind your head. Get your thumbs right to the back of your neck. Pull up on the back of your neck and tuck your chin in. Then press your head back, lift your chest, extend your elbows out. Release your hands to your hips or arms up. Remember, keep that length in your neck. Relax your shoulders. Good. Release your hands. Step forward into a mountain. Grab your blocks with you. Step to the middle of your mat. Spin and face the long edge of your mat. So using my purple mat here, you're going to place one block on each side. Leave them on the high setting. Even if you know that you can go to the medium or the lower setting in some of these wide poses, put them on the high setting because we're focusing on the shoulders and the neck. When you're ready, take a nice wide stance. Point your big toes straight ahead. Just make sure they're not turning open. Feet straight ahead or turn just slightly in, arms out to your sides. I'll mirror you here. Go ahead and turn your right foot out so your right foot points at the end of your mat. We're going into triangle first. Keep your legs straight, but don't buckle this front knee. Slight bend, hinge your hips back. Try to keep the chest open as best as you can. Reach up and forward, and then release your right hand out. Grab that block. Place it right underneath your shoulder. Lift your chest more, and bring your left hand to your hip. So focusing on the shoulders, notice if your shoulder's up. I want you to roll it back and bring it down as much as you can and lift your chest. Your feet are gonna stay nice and strong. And then your head can be nice and level. Lift your chest more, gently turn open. Now, if you have the capacity to keep the shoulder down and bring your arm up, you can go there. But if you feel like the shoulder's coming up here, just relax back. Good. Release your hand to your hip. Bend your front knee and come all the way up. We're going to the other side for triangle. Spin your right foot straight ahead to the long edge. Spin your left foot open. Straighten out your legs, arms to the side. Try to turn your chest. So it's really hard. You got to keep the glutes engaged properly and turn your chest. Reach up and over. Remember, slight bend here. Up and over. Bring your left hand down to the block. High setting. Lift your chest. Bring your right hand to your hip. Just so we can get that chest lifted. And then roll the right shoulder back. Relax your head and neck. Maybe lift the right arm up. So your feet are pressing down. Stay nice and strong in the legs. We're getting some lift into the chest. Turning open. You can look up or down. You can even do both of those. And then back to center if you'd like. Bring your hand to your hip. Bend your front knee. Come all the way up. Spin your feet straight ahead. Now we're going back to the other side. Spin your right foot out to the edge. Bring your arms out and bend your right knee into warrior two. We're not staying here long. Get your feet nice and steady. Keep your chest open as best as you can. Reverse warrior. We're going to keep the front knee bent. Bring your left hand to your thigh and just to the thigh, and you can bend the elbow a little. Roll that left shoulder back. Turn your right palm up, and I want you to reach up. Lift your chest, expand the ribs, and then bend your right elbow and bring it to the back of your head if you can, and maybe even extend it out. I like to just lift it up and open the triceps. And then come all the way up again. Stay here. Reach forward and out. You're gonna go up a little bit, extended side angle. Bring your hand down to the block. Lift your top arm up. So I want to stay on the high setting of your block. And then lift your chest. Turn open. Now I want you to bring your arm straight out in front of your chest. And then squeeze your shoulder blade back. So even if you bend your elbow, squeeze that shoulder blade back. And then bring it around and across to your ear. See if that got a little more movement into your shoulder. You can tip your head up. One more breath there. Slowly come back up. Bring your hands to your hips if you need to. Turn your right foot straight ahead to the long edge. Turn your left foot out to the short edge of your mat. Arms out. Turn your chest open. Bend your knee into warrior two. You can always walk that front foot forward. Remember, we want the knee over the ankle. Chest open. Going into reverse warrior. Right hand to your thigh. You can bend your elbow and really use some support on the thigh, not the knee. Turn your left palm up. Reach up through your chest. Bend at the elbow and bring your hand to the back of your head. If you can, couple breaths there. Slowly release. Back to your warrior two. Then to extended side angle. Reach forward and up. Bring your hand down to the block. Good, so you've got left hand down, right arm up. Bring it straight out to the side. Squeeze your shoulder blade back into the socket. So you should feel a little opening here. Then sweep it around and across your ear. You can gently tip your head up as long as that's comfortable. Couple breaths. Good, nice and slow. Come all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips, spin your left foot straight ahead. Grab your blocks. Place them in front of you, so in front of the long edge of your mat. Put your hands on your hips. And in a wide leg forward fold, we're only folding halfway. Tip your tailbone back so that you can get a nice straight lower back. So tip your tailbone back, and then you're going to hinge at your hips. Maybe bend the knees a little if you're tight. Your back is going to be straight, so you're going to place those hands down on your blocks. Now for some of you with long arms, if your blocks are on the high setting, mine aren't too bad, but my shoulders are higher than my hips. So you may have to go down to the medium setting like I do. Then relax your head and neck. Look straight down, but lengthen your neck. I want you to shift a little more weight into your heels. For this one, bend your knees a little and tip your butt back. Then pull your belly back. And as if somebody's holding your tailbone steady, I want you to lengthen. Even move the blocks a little bit farther out to the sides if you need. Lengthen, lift your chest and see if you can get those shoulders back away from your ears. Feel as much length between your shoulders and your ears as you can. Hold for one more breath. Then when you're ready, slowly bend your knees. Bring your hands back to your hips. Come on up. Step your feet together. You won't need your blocks for the next one, so go ahead and set them to the sides. Come up to the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart. Bring your hands on your hips, and we're going into an intense side stretch. So keep your right foot forward, step your left foot back, and you're gonna spin it open just a little bit. So foot is gonna be basically flat. Your left big toe points up at your left corner, and then straighten out that front leg. Turn your hips so they point straight ahead. If you can, I'll have you bring your hands into prayer position behind your back. Now that's only if you can. Otherwise, you're going to grab your elbows behind your back or even your wrists or your forearms. Once you've got your hand position behind your back, legs stay straight, roll your shoulders back, and get this lift of your chest. Keep your belly gently pulling back, but I want you to lift up and lengthen. Squeeze the shoulders back. Then keep that length and hinge. You might have to bend your front knee, that's okay. Hinge forward, try to keep the shoulders back. Now, if it feels better for you to interlace your hands and extend here, you can do that. We're gonna stop halfway, lift the chest, lengthen your neck. Your feet should be pressing down, especially the inside of that right foot. Slowly, keeping the belly strong, come back up. Release your hands to your hips, switch sides. Step your left foot forward, right foot back, and spin that right foot open just slightly. Straighten out your front leg, and make sure your hips aren't turning open. Turn the hips to the front. Again, hands behind you. You can grab elbows, or you can come into prayer position. Roll your shoulders back. Should feel a lot of work coming into the opening of the front of your shoulders. Hinge forward when you're ready. Try to keep the chest lifted, neck lengthened. Push through your left foot and turn that right hip forward just a little. Shoulders back. Again, you can interlace and extend your arms if that feels better. Lengthen your neck. Good. Nice and slow. Keep the belly strong. Keep your legs strong. Come all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips. Step forward. Walk your knees out if you need to, and then have a seat. We're going into leg lifts, but they're a different kind of leg lifts. Move that to the side. So when you come down onto your back, make sure you get the back of your head resting and get that length to your neck. So your chin might tuck down a little bit. Try to get your shoulder blades to connect to the floor. Hands down. You're going to bring your ankles and knees together. And we're going to keep the knees bent. But I want you to kind of tuck your tailbone under a little so you can get the sacrum and right back in the lower back to the glutes. Get that anchored to the floor. Then pull your belly back and keep the core engaged. So you're going to lift this lower belly up like I cue a lot in our poses. So lower belly's going to lift up. Keep the belly strong and shoulders back. Lift your legs up, keeping them bent. And come to 90 degrees. You're going to stay there and you're going to do that 3 times. But go slow and keep the control right here. I want you to keep the tailbone grounded, shoulders back, and the back of your head grounded. Go nice and slow. You can do more if you want. Good. And then once you're done with those, turn over onto your belly. And once you get onto your belly, bend your knees. Keep your knees hip distance. Grab a hold of the ankles if you can. And we're going to flex the feet in this bow pose. So feet flat as if you're standing on them. Roll your shoulders back. Try to keep the knees down as best as you can for this kind of bow pose. And you're going to kick your ankles in towards your hands and try to lift your chest forward, shoulders back. So there's a couple different kinds of bow pose. This one, the shoulder blades are really squeezing back. Lengthen your neck. Couple breaths there. Again, a blanket under the hips helps if you have lower back pain. Slowly release when you're ready. Feel free to bring your forearms in front of you and rest your forehead again to get that length back to the neck and to your lower back if you have discomfort there. Come onto your hands and knees once you're ready. In your tabletop, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to go into what's called baby bird. It's very similar to an elevated bow pose, which I have done many times in classes, but this one we're going to let the hips open. So we're going to balance on the right side. I want you to make sure that right hand is slightly off to the right, just a little bit. Curl your right toes under and kind of bring that right foot, if you can see, you're going to bring that right foot over to the right side, just a little bit more. Not much, just a little bit. And then you're going to lift your left leg up and back, and you're going to turn open. Grab your left hand to the outside of your left ankle. And I really want you to focus on lengthening and lifting in the chest. So this is why our right foot can go out to the side to help you balance. Lift your chest, roll your left shoulder back, and then you can kick your foot into your hand and open more if you would like. Lengthen your neck. So try not to tip up and back too much. Good. When you're ready, slowly release as best as you can. Back to your tabletop. Curl your left toes under. Bring that left foot off to the side a little. Spread your left fingers nice and wide. You're going to lift up through your right leg. Bend the knee. Turn open. Slowly bring your right hand to the outside of your ankle. Lift your chest. Roll the right shoulder back. Lengthen your neck. And maybe kick your foot or ankle in towards your hand and come into more of a back bend here. Few breaths if you can, and then slowly release. Back onto your hands and knees. If you ever need to do some cat and cows after that one, go ahead. And then grab your blocks and place them a little ways away from the front of your mat. Bring your palms down onto your blocks. You're going to go into an up dog with your hands on the blocks. So when you're ready, spread your fingers wide on your blocks as best as you can. Try not to get too much weight in the wrists. Remember, we want the base of the fingers. Bring the tops of your feet back And release the hips down, squeeze the shoulder blades back as best as you can, and bring those shoulders down away from your ears, and lengthen your neck. Again, like a turtle, you're lengthening that neck up. It's hard to get that weight out of the wrist, but just try a little bit. Good. Shoulders back. Slowly release. Come out of that when you're ready. Feel free to do a few rounds of your cat to cow or come into down dog. I like to go into down dog after that. Remember, get some length through the spine. Hold the belly back, but gently tip your tailbone up. Relax the head. You can go into puppy pose as well if you'd like, or just do your cat and cows. And then lower your knees to the floor. Now, if you have a folding chair, like I mentioned, go ahead and grab your folding chair. If you don't have a folding chair, you can still do this next one with a pillow or a bolster. So if you have a pillow or a bolster, you're gonna set that up, preferably so that you are gonna sit over or lay over the short way. So it's going horizontal across your back, and you're gonna lay back. Now, if you have the chair, that's going to be our biggest focus. You're going to open your folding chair up. And the reason I mentioned try to find one that has as much space back here as you can, because if you can, you're going to sit in the chair so that your knees are kind of right underneath there. You're going to slide forward and start to lean back. Now we want the shoulder blades to roll, and your hands are going to come to the sides of the chair. Your shoulder blades are going to roll back and relax the head. Now if you have a headache or a migraine, don't do this while you have a headache or migraine. Also, don't do it if you have a lot of blood pressure issues or if you're currently experiencing any dizziness or vertigo. So you would rest back there for a few breaths. Again, if you have that pillow or bolster, that's basically going to be what the seat of the chair is for us. So let the shoulders roll back and relax your head. Usually 5 to 10 breaths is good, and then you can slowly come back up. Then you can come out of your chair. This next one is basically just with the chair, but if you have a seat, you can just do a nice seated twist again. In the chair, it gets a lot better position for the back and the neck and shoulders. So if you have your chair, you're gonna sit sideways on the chair. So my back rest is here, underneath my right arm. Then you're gonna keep your feet hip distance apart, keep your feet planted, make sure your knees stay where they are. You're gonna bring your hands to the sides of the chair. So you're gonna lift your chest, use your hands right on the side of the seat or of the back, and then turn your head. And you're gonna look past that back shoulder. Make sure your knees don't fall in. A few breaths. Remember, just a nice gentle twist and turn of the neck. Once you go to the other side, you're gonna turn around so you can get to the other side of your chair. Feet hip distance again. Keep your knees where they are, and you're gonna turn. Bring your hands to each side of the chair. Roll this back shoulder back, lift your chest, and gently turn. Make sure your knees didn't fall in. Again, you hold for a few breaths. And then come back to the center. You can set your chair back to the side again. Have a seat on your blanket. So if you have a blanket, if you don't, not a problem. You can fold it. It is best to get it folded down to a nice little rectangle. Have a seat right at the edge of the blanket. Bring your legs into a wide angle. And then your blanket is going to be lifting the back of your glutes up, and you can kind of slide forward a little bit. You want to make sure to roll the thighs out. Relax your feet however they're comfortable. And then bring your hands right behind your thighs. Now as you press down, roll your shoulders back and lift your chest. Now if you flex your feet, you can create a little bit more strength into your legs, but I want you to bend your knees a little bit. Keep the shoulders rolling back and lengthen your spine. So as long as you get a slight tip back of the tailbone, that's where the blanket helps, is you can tip the butt back a little and lean forward so that your tailbone is starting to tip down. Shoulders back, and remember to lengthen your neck. You're gonna hold there for a few breaths. If you decide to go further, only go further if your back is completely comfortable by coming forward and not rounding. But I prefer, for the purpose of the neck, of staying higher if you can. And remember to lengthen the back of the neck. Good, when you're ready, slowly come on out. You can keep the blanket, and we're gonna go into a shoulder stand, or instead of shoulder stand, you can do a supported bridge pose. So if you have done shoulder stand before, you can go into it. It is helpful for the neck to use your folded blanket for your shoulder stand. So you would come down, and the tops of your shoulders will basically match up with the edge of the blanket so that you can rest your head down. And in your shoulder stand, you tuck your knees up, bring your elbows down if you can, and then hands down. You're gonna lift up, bend your elbows, bring them to your lower back, and you're gonna lift yourself up. Now, I'm not used to using a blanket for this, but it provides extra space, and you can press down and get yourself into your shoulder stand. Or come into your bridge pose using a block. Either one, so both of them are gonna get a little bit of length to the neck as long as you're pressing the back of your head down and getting your shoulder blades down. Supported bridge pose is great for the neck because you don't have all that weight that you're trying to hold up. Feet are still hip distance, and your tailbone is just resting right there on the block, usually at the medium setting. Slowly release that block out. Set your block to the side. Come back down onto your back. Keep your knees bent. Bring your knees together. Bring your arms out to the sides. Roll your palms up. Now you can keep the arms straight out to the sides or bend your elbows. So keeping the palms up. I usually prefer this way. My shoulders are more comfortable here, but feel free to have your arms straight if you want. And lift your knees up. And we're just going to slowly lower the knees over to the left. Try to keep your shoulders down and then turn your head to the right. This is firmly rotated pose. So your knees are going over to the left, head turns to the right. Slowly come back to the center, lifting your knees up. And then go the other direction, lower your knees to the right. Keep your shoulders down and look to your left. Couple breaths there. I don't know if anybody else has gotten some nice little cracks or adjustments into the upper body, but when we switch sides on this pose, I got a nice little crack in the upper back. And remember, those little cracks and pops will happen as long as there's no pain with them. That is a good thing. If there is pain with them, then that's when that movement was not good for you. Bringing the knees back up in towards the center. Just rest your hands on the front of your knees, but keep the lower back down. Some people in reclined child's pose like to lift up there. But for the purpose of the spine, keep that lower back down. And then get the back of your head resting and lengthen your neck. You can bring your feet down. Separate your feet as wide as your mat and rest your knees into one another. And relax your arms out to the sides. Get those shoulders down. And really open your arms. A lot of people tend to leave their arms right next to them, but open them up, palms up, gently close your eyes. You can stay there with your knees bent, or you can straighten your legs out onto the floor into your full resting pose. Make sure that you keep your neck lengthened. Don't tilt your chin up too much. And rest there for a few moments. I will turn on a little bit of soft music for you. Remember to focus in on your breath. When you're ready, release and slowly roll over to one side. Take your time as you slowly come back up to a seated position. Take your comfortable seat just like you began. Rest your arms down. Lengthen your neck. Eyes closed or soft gaze at the floor. We'll end with 3 more deep breaths. Exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale slowly. And smooth out your breath. Take your time as you open your eyes again. Take your time getting up. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And you can let me know if you need anything extra. And as